This morning and for the next 6 Sundays, I hope you'll join me and others in our community when we read books to you that feature different ways and different ideas that we hope will challenge your family. Today, I'm going to read a book called Scribbleville. And after the story, I hope you'll think about these questions. What part of the story is most important? What part of the story is about you? If we could leave out any part of the story, what would that be? And we hope that the whole family will participate. Okay. Scribbleville by Peter Hollowitz. Just up the road beyond the hill, there's a little town called Scribbleville. You know when you're there, it's easy to tell. The signs on the street don't read so well, and the folks you might meet, they all walk with wiggles. Their knees are in knots, and their feet are all squiggles. They have scribbled houses, they have scribbled hats. They walk scribbled dogs and chicken scratch cats. You can search high and low. You can scour the town. A straight line you'll never be found. Until the day a stranger came, and Scribbleville was never the same. He drove a straight big truck through the middle of town, long, thick lines with wheels big and round. It was tough to tell he passed so quick, but the man in the truck looked straight as a stick. He parked his truck and began to unload. Near a scribbly tree on a scribbly road, he built a house. It was perfectly straight, with tall pointed roof and white picket gate. But out in the street the word spread quick of the straight new house and the man like a stick. Have you seen him, they asked? He showed up today. Where does he come from? How long will he stay? Why would a man so straight and so slim want to live in a town where no one's like him? Wherever he went, the people would stare. Look at his clothes. Who cuts his hair? He doesn't fit in. He looks all wrong. Someone should tell him he doesn't belong. The very next day, the stranger worked hard. He planted a tree and put in his grass in his yard. Then a woman walked up. Her hair was a mess. She wore a big smile and a red scribbled dress. Good morning, she said, as she played with her hair. That's a beautiful house. I can't help but stare. Thank you, he said, and gave her a smile. They stood in his gate and chatted a while. They had lunch the next day. They had dinner too. They did all the things that new friends do. But the folks around town and the stores on the street, they threw up their hands and stomped their feet. Her friends all said, she's lost her mind. She's gone too far. She's crossed the line. I admit, she said, as her scribbled hair shook, in the outside he's old, but that's not where I look. She changed her hair, he said. It looks great. The ends were scribbled, but the sides were straight. They took long walks. They shopped at the store. He bought a new shirt he might never had before. In Scribbleville Park, they gathered a crowd. They threw up their hands and shouted aloud. It starts with one, but that's not where it ends. He'll pick up the phone and call all his friends. And they'll move here too. It will cause such a fuss. There'll be more of them than there are of us. That night a kid sat down at his table and drew from his mind some things that he was able. A scribbled tree, a chicken scratch cat. He drew himself with a scribbled hat. But then he drew something totally new, a drawing that no one in town would do. He drew a house and a picket gate, some of it scribbled and some of it straight, lines thick and thin, some short, some taller. He drew big scribbles, some of them smaller. His mother smiled, his dad scratched his head. "That's a beautiful house," what they said. And his friends at school were all surprised. His teacher stared with open eyes. They all agreed his art was great. Just enough scribble and just enough straight. So his friends all did what kids will do. They drew straight lines and scribbles too. In every house a few days later, on every scribbled refrigerator, every mom and dad there was did what every parent does. And then one day, you might guess why, a teacher wore a straight new tie. At first it seemed strange because the change was so new, but soon a few kids wore straight lines too. And before too long, no one was staring. The lines looked good with what they were wearing. It's tough to say, to pick one day. Things never change overnight. But before too long, what once felt wrong started to feel a bit right. An old restaurant put up a straight new sign. Business was good. There was always a line. Time went by. Things changed a lot. New folks moved in. Some scribbled, some not. The town didn't look like it once did before, and the stranger wasn't so strange anymore. He married the woman in the red scribbled dress. Her gown was gorgeous. Her hair was a mess. They built a new house with a white picket gate. The shrubs were scribbled, but the grass was straight. They had 2 kids. One was scribbled, one wasn't. What does it matter? Maybe it doesn't. Just up the road beyond the hill, there's a little town called Scribbleville. And you'll know when you're there, it's easy to tell. Whoever you are, you'll fit in well. And that's a story called Scribbleville. What part of the story is most important? What part of the story is about you? If we could leave out any part of the story, what would that be?